we get a range of people who have been gardening for a long time and growing food for a long time, to people who are aware of the, some of the issues around wanting to grow food and how sustainably food is produced. So they may not have a lot of knowledge or skill. So one of the advantages of here is that they can ask people, they can see how other people are growing stuff and learn from that. Certainly giving a much more awareness of how food is produced, so you can then take that to other things and hopefully bring that awareness when people go shopping, that where is my food coming from, how is it produced. There's an inequality in terms of access to food as well. So it becomes a much more complex issue around access to food when you start looking at it on a global scale. I mean, people will say, oh, it's easy to go to the supermarket, and on a level that's true, but and food in the supermarket seems really cheap, and the reason for that is because we're not paying the full cost of production. We don't pay anywhere near the energy cost. When you start looking at fossil fuels and of tractors and transporting food long distances, using non-renewable resources to achieve that, and the cost to our soils, how well we manage our soils when we large-scale production is not very good, and it's declining significantly and has declined significantly in the last 200 years. So by growing locally and managing our soil base and reducing our energy inputs, we may be paying a bit more for our food, but we're actually paying more of the real cost of production. So if we really want to avoid an environmental crisis, that moving to small-scale food production is the way to go.
I've been growing mushrooms for 9 years now, and we've been doing farm and markets for 8 years. It's very important to know what they're actually, how it's grown, where it comes from, the ingredients. All our ingredients that we use is certified organic, but we actually don't say the mushrooms are organic. It has to go through certain certification rules and regulations, and also a costly exercise. So yeah, basically, it's a you might as well say it's we don't put it this way, we don't use any chemicals on our produce, so they're grown from organic ingredients. It's basically, people are getting fresh produce, so that's the bottom end, and quality as well.
I've been vegan for just under 11 months, I think, probably. Well, I was vegetarian for a month beforehand. I promised my mum I'd never go vegan. Why did I become vegan? I became vegan because it's a massive contributor to the greenhouse gases. So I volunteered with the Australian Youth Climate Coalition, and I'd tell people like, oh, you got to do this, this, this. And then I'd go home and I wouldn't do any of it. And I have to, instead of talking the talk, I have to walk the walk. I knew that was a big way of how I could contribute, do my little bit. And along with climate change, agriculture, which like the animal agricultural industry, let's say, is a big contributor to deforestation around the world. So a lot of places in the Amazon are being cut down for cattle farms. And yeah, it's just like massive amounts of water go into it as well. At the moment, we're not even sustainably feeding the 7 billion people on the planet. I don't think that's sustainable. The like vast swathes of land are just being there to feed animals, and then like it diminishes so much when you can get like that kilo of meat, or you can get like the 10 kilos of grain. And if someone's going to go hungry, for one person to have that 10 kilo of meat, I don't understand. But it has to change. It's not sustainable the way we're doing our farming practices at the moment. And it's either going to be a boom and bust model where our population gets so high it can't sustain itself, and the population will diminish to 1 billion because we all starve, or we're gonna use our brains. Like, humans are the most intelligent animal on the planet. We're gonna use our brains, make it sustainable so that everyone can survive. Everyone has a right to be in this planet. I think the problem at the moment is not sustainability. I think it's distribution. So massive inequalities in wealth. So you got places like Africa where hundreds of thousands of people are dying every day from preventable diseases. Similar problem with going hungry, and yet people like over-consuming in all the Western countries in the world. Like, obesity rates are way through the roof, and they don't have to eat that. And yeah, I think it's just a bit rubbish.